your first 100 sales is like, okay, we got a proof of concept, we did the thing, we figured it out. Going from 0 to 100 sales is really like the stopping ground. It's learning your customer, learning what their needs, wants, fears, and goals are, what products are working, what products aren't working, right? There's a lot of data that gets collected in that first sprint. Getting your first 100 sales is probably the most painful thing ever. And if you're somebody still trying to get your first 100 sales, make sure you actually click the link in my description or you cue this video up here and go watch that one first. But this video is if you've gotten over 100 sales and now you're trying to get to your first 10,000 sales. Going from 0 to 100, like I said, is really just you trying to figure out what's working, what your customers want. Do people even want what I have to sell? After 100 sales, we got some confidence because we have some momentum. We've had sent out at least 100 packages or done at least 100 print-on-demand orders. Now we want to scale. So how do we do that? How do we go from 100 to 10,000 sales? Well, that's what we're going to be covering in this video. So let's get into it. I don't have an office right now, so we're just shooting wherever we have good lighting in this house, basically. All right, so now we got our first 100 sales. Where do we go from here? So one of the things that we do in the beginning, we just, do some competitor analysis, we launch our first products, but then moving forward, when we really want to scale, we want to make sure that our energy spent is yielding us the best outcome. So obviously when you go into your Etsy stats, you can see the products that are making you the most revenue, which ones are getting you the most favorites, the most clicks, impressions, and all of that's really valuable. It is important to see what the algorithm is actually pulling out. And we want to let the data guide us on what our potential next best sellers are by what the data is telling us. So again, in your Etsy stats, we can sort it by the most revenue and we can analyze the products that are doing the best for us. Now, we could take this a step further here because truly what we want to guide us is profit, not just revenue. Revenue is like a number that feels really good, but it's not actually telling us about the true success of that product, right? So in this Etsy profit tracking tool here, you can see your profit on a unique product, right? And so sometimes in your Etsy stats, you have a bunch of products and you're looking at revenues, but it's really like number 4 in the list that's actually making you the most profit. So that's actually the product that we want to focus on. Moreover, if you're doing pricing strategies where, you're trying to get reviews and you came in low on a price point, right? You can catch what products in here by that profit margin percentage column, what products you actually need to go ahead and fix your pricing strategy. So if you've had a product make a couple thousand sales at a low price point and you forgot to go increase your price, right? This tool is actually going to check that for you and you can go back and fix your price strategy on the back end. So we actually are increasing that profit margin percentage on that unique product. So overall, we want profit to guide us on our next best decisions, right? By the way, I didn't even introduce this tool. This is the brand new ProfitTree tool. It's the first ever real-time profit tracking tool. And this is something I absolutely love and I use every single day for my own business because 1, I like to see my profit every day, but 2, it's really highlighting the products that I need to focus on, right? So for instance, if I go into the listing report, I can click on a listing and I can see what products are selling the most in a particular listing. And I can see here, this product is making the bulk of my sales here compared to all the other variations, but that product is not even the one that's being advertised in the main image or my keywords, right? Or that's an indicator that maybe I should duplicate that unique product variation and put it in another bundle or split test it in a few different ways because obviously it's doing really well. So maybe I should split test it with a new image, a new bundle, and maybe a new set of keywords to see if I can expand my searchability on that product since it's doing pretty well. Now, in contrary to that, we can see products that are downward trending, right? So sometimes we get really attached to products. They're coming up to their lifespan of their product. So the really cool thing about this tool is that I like to see the overarching trend of a product over time. So it's natural for product listings to die over time. And like I said, a lot of times our surface level gets emotional and gets attached to that product and keeps wanting to put ad ad money behind it, or, you know, is not posting new listings because they think that that product is going to one day come back from the dead and, you know, make a bunch of sales again. So they don't put in more work on other listings because they think that that product's going to last forever. I've actually seen this in Etsy's people's shops before. And the truth is Etsy listings and Etsy products have a lifespan. And I really like that you can see the upward and downward trends over a unique product over time, right? And if we see that a product is slightly on a downward trend over, you know, quarters and years, then, you know, we have to detach from that idea that that product is going to save us. Now, the only thing that we can do if a unique product is downward trending is we can try to revitalize it by duplicating the listing and making new images for it. But if you split test new images 2 or 3 more times, usually it's a product problem and you're not going to save the product from the dead. But having this data just makes your relationship so much more honest, so that oh, hi doggy. But having this proof of data just makes it that much more honest with yourself, so that you're not, you know, holding back from launching new things, or I don't know, launching more things of that same nature where it's really not making you any more money. Hi puppy, sit. What? You miss your mommy, don't you? We're pet sitting a dog right now. So let profit be your guide. The next really big key factor in getting from 100 to a 10,000 sales is, a lot of times for most people, they cap their marketing cost percentage because they get scared. It's really should be your goal to get your ads to the max budget allowance of $1,000 a day with profitability. So I have a full Etsy ads masterclass, a free Etsy masterclass that I put out on YouTube that you can queue above this video. So make sure you watch that. The goal with your Etsy ads isn't just to spend a bunch of money and waste money. That's not what we're doing, right? In your ProfitTree dashboard, it actually shows you your ad cost percentage per month, right? You should proportionally be able to scale your business. So just because you spend $200 a day on Etsy ads, when you put that to 1,000, that doesn't mean that this percentage bucket here is going to go to 50%. If that happens, that means that something's wrong and you're either not optimizing your ads properly, or you're just launching a bunch of products that don't sell well, right? So make sure you queue that video up there so you learn that ad strategy. But Etsy ads are major key to scaling and scaling more profit and fast. A lot of times Etsy ads are scary for people, and I understand why, but that video and that free training will give you a lot of comfort, or no matter, you know, what you're willing to invest, even if it's like only a couple dollars, that video should give you comfort on what you need to do to eventually bump it up to the max budget allowance. And finally, a major key, and this might seem like super obvious, but is just staying focused. So a lot of times the momentum gets lost because we get bored at the thing that we're doing, because the reality is anything that is great to build, there was a lot of doing the same thing over and over again, and it can be really redundant and, like I said, boring. But the best entrepreneurs and the best businesses are the ones that do the same thing for long periods of time, even if that means innovating new products, posting listings, doing research, right? And making your product better, right? All of those things. It's just really important in that scaling phase that you stay focused on one thing. Don't go and try to open up a second and a third and a fourth shop, because your first shop hasn't even gotten to the point where it's growing and running by itself. I would only recommend you get distracted with other products when your first business venture is so dialed in that it's not only growing by itself, but it's also running almost by yourself. Like you have employees, you have outsourced help helping you run the business. Other than that, everything else is just a distraction. I can promise you that. The worst thing you can do is have 3 or 4 half-broken engines with no real results. And I promise you, at 100 sales, that's great momentum. But if you start getting distracted at this point, it's going to kill your momentum fast. At 100 sales, it's so important that you're doubling, tripling down on what's working and going hard, not retracting because it's getting boring. So really try to stay focused on what's working and continuing to do it for long periods of time. Overall, guys, thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. Make sure you comment your questions or concerns down below. Make sure you watch that full Etsy ads training. The link is in the description so you can get comfortable with scaling your ads budget from $0 to $1,000 per day. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.